Starting your YouTube channel is nowhere near as hard as you are telling yourself it is. Today, I'm talking about all the things I wish I knew before I started my YouTube channel. And honestly, that is one of the biggest things that I wish someone told me, right? I had the idea for this YouTube channel for months and I sat on it and I made absolutely no progress with it until one day, my now husband decided that he wanted to give YouTube a go. And within 48 hours of him deciding that he was gonna start a YouTube channel, he had filmed, edited, and uploaded his first YouTube video. What? And I'm sitting there like, oh, I thought that took years to do, right? I thought you needed a fancy camera to start a YouTube channel. No, he did all of it using his iPhone 12. I thought you needed experience speaking in front of a camera. Well, like, how do you get experience speaking in front of a camera if you're not gonna practice speaking in front of a camera? I was worried about what people would think of me. And the truth is, no one cares. Like, everyone has their own stuff going on. One of my favorite quotes is by The Streets. And what it basically says is, you'd worry less about what they thought if you realized how little they did. Isn't that just beautiful? It's basically saying that we waste our time worrying about what other people think of us, when in reality, they're not thinking of us at all, are they? Because we've all got our own stuff going on. And the real kicker for me, the real question that I would ask myself, which would stop me from starting my YouTube channel, was, what if nobody watched my videos? And you know what? In the early days, you aren't going to get many people watching your videos. And that is such a beautiful time for your channel. It allows you to experiment. It allows you to get familiar with the content you're creating. Can you imagine a scenario where you uploaded your very first video and it went viral? Does anybody want that? I dare you to find me a YouTuber who would have wanted that to happen. No. In the early days, you don't want hundreds of thousands of people watching your videos because you're just getting familiar with the process. You're just wrapping your head around becoming a YouTuber. I'm willing to bet that at least one of those excuses that I used to tell myself, you are probably telling yourself. And let me tell you, all those excuses did was hold me back. All right, so let's talk about the two different types of YouTubers that there are in the world, because this is something that I wish I knew in the early days, because I think it would have changed the way that I approached my channel. I once had a conversation with the director of trends at YouTube, and he was the one who actually shared this nugget of wisdom with me, right? He basically said that there are two types of creators in the world. There are the creatives and there are the nerds. So the creatives are the ones who just like produce on the fly. They don't plan their content. They're just out and about living life, and content kind of finds them. They're not afraid to experiment, to try new things. And a lot of the time, they're one of the first people to adopt new trends, right? On the other side, you've got the nerds. You can probably imagine what the nerds are like. The nerds need a bit of structure, right? They like to plan their videos ahead. They're probably figuring out what their videos are going to be about based on a whole lot of research. They spend a lot of time in their analytics and they schedule all of their content out in advance. Can you take a wild guess as to which one I am? Let me know in the comments. No, forget it. I already know that you know which one I am. I am a nerd. I'm heavy on the nerd side. The thing is, whether you're a creative or a nerd, you can see success on YouTube. But you're more likely to see success if you can identify which type of creator you are in the early days, because that is going to show you where your weaknesses lie. For example, the creatives, or also known as like the free spirits of the YouTuber world, they're amazing at producing their content, right? They absolutely love their craft. However, they are prone to struggle with consistency because they're not planning their content, they're not scheduling their content, and there's no structure around their actual production process. On the flip side, your nerds have that down. Even if you think you're a nerd and you haven't quite got your process down yet, but you're trying to get a process, that probably means that you are in fact a nerd, right? The problem with myself and all my other fellow nerd friends is that we sometimes lack on the creativity side. Sometimes we get so bogged down on trying to produce 4 videos a month and scheduling them in advance and blah, 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 that sometimes we forget to love the process of creating and to try new things. So once you identify the type of creator you are, you can figure out your weakness and you can learn to improve on it. Okay, so I'm actually still pretty mad that no one told me this in the early days, because it is one of the easiest hacks to get more subscribers. Like, I cannot believe that it took me months to discover this, but none of you guys could drop me a DM and let me know about this hack. It's fine. I'm over it. You're forgiven, but you know, forgive but never forget. So what the hack is basically creating a special link to your YouTube channel, which prompts anyone who clicks on it to subscribe to your channel. Let me show you what I mean. So right now on the screen, what you're looking at is the link in my bio on my Instagram channel, right? What you'll see is that there's a big YouTube emoji there. So if someone found me on Instagram, but they want to check out my YouTube channel, they're going to click on it. Now, because I've used this special link, they'll be taken through to my YouTube channel. And if they're signed in, a box is going to appear, which is going to say, would you like to subscribe to Jade's YouTube channel? And if you don't know already, that is a different experience to what they would see if I wasn't using that special link. Usually when you link to your YouTube channel, it will just take someone through to your channel and that's kind of it. But with this special link, it is prompting that person to subscribe to your channel, which is going to massively increase the chances of all of these people clicking on your link to actually subscribe, not just to look at your videos and then keep it moving, but actually to subscribe to your channel first. And when I started using this special link, especially in the early days, I saw a spike in the number of subscribers that I was getting to my channel. So how do you create this link? You'll be pleased to know it's very easy. It's literally your YouTube channel URL. So copy and paste your standard URL. I then want you to add this to the end of the link. So all you have to do is add this to your YouTube channel link, and that will give you the special subscribe link. I will paste the text in my description just so it's really easy for you to copy. All right, so the next thing I wish someone had told me, or something I wish I knew, was that I didn't need to buy any new fancy equipment, at least not yet. Now, you've probably heard someone say this before, like, you don't need fancy equipment to start your YouTube channel. That's all true. And I did know that when I started out, because I started my channel with my phone and a ring light, and that was it. I didn't have a microphone, and I used that equipment for months. And I actually reached my first 5,000 subscribers simply by using that equipment. So I've always known that was the case, and you might know that too. Where I went wrong though, and the area that a lot of people don't talk about, is when are you ready to upgrade? And when you are, what should you be buying? Like, that was just something that I didn't know. So what I ended up doing was buying a lot of crap equipment when I thought I was ready to upgrade my stuff, right? I bought so many different microphones, guys. I've only had this microphone for I don't even think it's been a year yet, which is ridiculous because I've been a full-time YouTuber for multiple years. So I should have had a good mic for a lot longer than a few months. It took me a while to actually buy the right microphone for me. And here's the thing that you've got to remember when it comes to upgrading your kit. The first thing is to go based on recommendations. I know if you go on Amazon, there's loads of reviews and you can think that the reviews are enough, but honestly, the best kit that I've ever bought has been kit that another creator has recommended in their own content. Most creators will link the different things that they use in the description. That's exactly what I do. If you're wondering what I use, people will link it in the description. Go to their description and get what they have. Now, the second thing to remember, and also the mistake that I made, is that I would go to my favorite creators and I would look at what they linked in the description. And if I felt like I could get a cheaper version of it, that's what I would get. And that was where I was going wrong. Instead, what I should have done is waited a little bit longer and saved for a little while longer to get the good kit. Instead, I just kept on finding cheaper alternatives, which were cheaper for a reason. They wouldn't last very long and the quality was absolute crap. And I ended up wasting far more money on that equipment than if I would have just purchased the creator recommended camera or mic or lights from the beginning. Notice anything different? I've just swapped over from using my Sony ZV-1 to film this video to my iPhone 14 Pro Plus. And I did that because I wanted to demonstrate the fact that you can capture high quality video footage using your phone. Now, the pro tip here, if you want to start out by using your phone, is to make sure you always use the rear camera. The rear cameras are usually a lot higher quality than the front facing camera. The second tip is to wipe your lens. Like, I know that sounds so basic, but honestly, I forget to do that all the time. Wipe your lens. They have oils on it, it has fluff on it, and it is messing with the quality of your video. So as long as you follow those two tips, you can start your YouTube channel using your phone. So another thing that I wish I knew at the start of my YouTube journey is that there are so many free templates and resources available to you, which will massively speed up the process of you launching your YouTube channel and growing your YouTube channel. I do not want you guys to make the same mistake. So today I'm going to share a very special free resource with you, which is brought to you by HubSpot. So this free resource includes 18 free YouTube templates that you can download today and start using immediately. The templates include 10 YouTube image templates, 7 YouTube description templates, and 1 YouTube roadmap planning template. So these templates are going to help you with a bunch of different things. For example, your channel art, including your thumbnails, your banner images, in addition to written descriptions for your YouTube videos, which is an area that I think a lot of us forget about, especially in the early days of our channel. These elements play a crucial role in showcasing your brand and ensuring that people want to subscribe to you over other creators. These elements are a really great mix between visual appeal, but also essential components for a successful YouTube channel, including things like SEO components, which stands for search engine optimization. Without getting too technical, it basically means that these templates that are being provided for you are going to help ensure that your channel is set up correctly and therefore in the best possible position to be recommended by YouTube and seen seen by thousands of people. My favorite templates within this pack are the 5 customizable YouTube banner templates. Now, guys, I don't know if you've tried to create a YouTube banner before, but it's tricky. This is too stressful. It is not as simple and it's not as straightforward as you would think. So if you are struggling with that area of your YouTube channel, then just get these free banner templates and just use those instead. So as I mentioned, this resource is completely free, courtesy of HubSpot. So head to the link in my description to get your hands on the free banner templates. All right, so another thing that is important to know in the early days of your YouTube channel is that it's not all about views. This is a lesson that I'm still struggling to learn to this day. I'm going to be completely transparent with you. It's a hard lesson to learn. Let me break this down for you. Once you've been creating for a little while, you realize that there are 2 different groups of subscribers that you currently have, right? You will have your surface level subscribers. These are subscribers who enjoy your content, but they tend to only watch your videos when they're about something that is of interest to them. And that's totally fair. Like, for example, there's a content creator who I watch and I just love her travel vlogs and I don't tend to watch the rest of her content. Like, I'm kind of there for the travel vlogs. That's okay. But in that scenario, I am a surface level subscriber. Now, on a different level to that and a lot deeper down, you have your advocates. Bloody love this word. Your advocates are the life and soul of your YouTube channel. Every successful YouTuber has a good base of advocates. Now, advocates are different from your surface level subscribers because advocates will watch pretty much anything that you share. They are there for you and they want to support you, regardless of whether or not the topic of your video is relevant to them. They just want to hear you talk. They just want to see what you're doing and they just want to support your content. Now, the reason why advocates are so vital for any successful YouTuber's brand is because your advocates are the ones who are going to be there if you need to take a break from your channel. They're the ones who are going to be there if you decide to change the format of your content or maybe you pivot your niche, right? They're also the ones who are going to support you when you release merchandise of a course or a digital product. Now, I'm not saying that your advocates have to buy all these things from you. Even if they're not in a position to purchase your new merchandise, they will spread the word for you, right? Because they're there to support you. So let's take it back to what I said about not everything being about views. Because in order for you to have a good base of advocates, you need to create content which nurtures them. And for a lot of us, the content that will nurture these advocates isn't the content that's going to get you a lot of views. Let's take my channel for an example, right? The content that's going to get a lot of views for me is the content where I heavily focus on social media marketing and entrepreneurship. Like, I know any heavily educational, heavily valuable content is the content that's going to help me get views and hopefully help me grow. On the flip side, when I share vlogs or behind the scenes type videos, those videos aren't going to get anywhere near as many views, but they will get more engagement because those videos are for the advocates. That's the type of behind the scenes content where you're really sharing you and your life. That's usually the content that either your advocates love or that ends up creating advocates because you're taking people from your surface level content that's for everyone and you're bringing them behind the scenes and you're sharing more personal content just for them. Now, most creators, myself included, will struggle with the fact that this type of content for our advocates will not get as many views as our other content. And you can see this in some of the biggest creators on the platform, like Stephen Bartlett, for example. He has 2 channels now. Like, one of his channels is his like vlog behind the scenes style content. Ali Abdul has the exact same thing. He's got another channel, which I think he calls Appendix, that is more for his advocates and it's more behind the scenes, right? So I wish I knew in the early days that there were a few different things that you could do to nurture those advocates. You can do what Ali Abdul and Stephen Bartlett did and create a separate channel, or you can create a channel membership on YouTube which shares a specific type of content. I currently have that. It's called Behind the Business. I make it very affordable. It's like £2 a month or something, just so that the real deep advocates of my content who really want to hear like the ins and outs of my life and my business have a place to get that without disrupting everyone else. Or you can just make peace with the fact that all of your videos aren't designed to get you a lot of views. Also, quick shout out to the advocates of this channel because I see you and I appreciate you. The first time I ever noticed that I had some advocates, and this will be a good indication for you if you're trying to figure out if you have them too, was when I realized that a handful of people would like my video as soon as it went live. So within a few minutes of it going live, it would have a few likes. And that to me was a clear sign that I had some advocates, because there's no way that you've already watched my 15-minute video and decided it was good. Instead, you took a bet on me because you supported me and you liked it before you even watched it. I appreciate you more than you know. All right, are you still with me? There are so many things that I wish I knew before I started my YouTube channel. And it's just like, this list is never ending. Okay, I've still got so many good ones, so just Stay with me. So I wish I knew about this way to hack your watch hours. This is a strategy that I used like 5 months after uploading my first YouTube video. And even though that's pretty soon, I wish I used it even sooner. And basically what it involves is creating highly targeted videos and sending those videos directly to people to increase the chances of them watching the whole thing and therefore increasing your watch hours. Let me break this down by explaining what I did specifically. So I have an Instagram account, and at this point it had maybe like 1,000 followers, maybe 2,000 followers on it. And what I did is I uploaded a story and a grid post, which explained to my audience that I was offering free Instagram audits via DM. The reason why I did this is because I knew this was a clear pain point of my audience. Like, I knew that my audience really wanted to know what they could improve on their Instagram channel, specifically so that they could be noticed by brands and potential sponsors. So I thought, okay, I've got some time. I'm going to offer a quick audit for free via DM. So that's what I did. And I got a bunch of people DMing me as a result, because remember, I was offering this for free. So even if I didn't have a huge audience, it was a free thing I was offering. So a lot of people took me up on the offer. So everyone started DMing me, and I started looking at people's Instagram channels and responding with some feedback. Where the hack comes in addition to responding with some feedback, I would direct them to a YouTube video that I created that was directly linked to the feedback that I'd given. So let's say I looked at someone's profile and I was like, oh, your bio is not hitting, right? We need to improve your bio. I would say that to them. I'd say, hey, the main area we need to improve on here is your bio, specifically XYZ. Here's a video where I break this down in detail. And then I would link to them the YouTube video that I would have already created. And I did this for loads of people. Like, oh God, it must have been hundreds. It was hundreds of people. It was a while ago now, but I did it for a lot of people. And when I tell you my watch hours went, they spiked. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not a quick tactic. Like, this takes time. It takes effort. It takes a lot of manual labor, let's say. But if you're serious about increasing your watch hours, and maybe you're in a similar position that I was, where I was really trying to get monetized, it's a great way to do it. You're creating videos that solve specific problems, and you're sending those videos to people who need help with those problems. Like, they're going to watch the whole video. It's going to give your watch hours a spike. All right, so let's talk about how much content you should be sharing on YouTube. Specifically, the fact that the amount of content you should share on YouTube should actually change over time. And this is something that I wish I learned earlier, right? In the early days, it's more about quantity, right? When you're first starting out on your YouTube channel, you want to be creating as much content as you possibly can and just getting it out there, because that is the phase where you are just trying to get some practice. You need to get familiar with talking to the camera, with editing your content, with getting a process together. You just need to get practice, and therefore quantity is better than quality. Now, at some point in your journey, when you start to get traction and you feel like you've got a good handle on how to create content that your audience responds to, you want to switch strategies, and you actually want to focus more on quality over quantity. And this is a lesson that I'm still struggling to accept myself. I am still posting the same amount that I posted when I started my channel 3 years ago. I need to switch to the quality approach. I should be uploading one very good video every single week, rather than splitting my time and uploading 2 okay videos every week. And that's very much something that I'm starting to implement in my channel. But let me tell you, it has been a journey for me to get to this point. And I'm not going to lie, I only learnt this a few months ago. And I learned this as a result of meeting and interviewing so many successful creators over on my podcast, which is called The Creator Project. And it was through talking to so many of those creators when I realized, like, oh, there's actually 2 different approaches here, and they change over time. So ask yourself where you are on your journey and figure out whether you should be going down the quantity route or the quality route. Something that you should be aware of when you're starting out on your journey is that scripting is probably going to cause you some problems. So what I'm referring to here is when you prep for your videos and you write down word for word what you want to say in your video. This is one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of newbie creators make, because unless you are naturally skilled at reading from a script, or you're trained in reading from a script, because yes, guys, people who do that have received extensive training in order to be able to do it. It's not a natural thing that we could all do. I think we tell ourselves that because we can read from a script. And I get the logic, but it just isn't true, okay? When you read from a script, a few different things can happen. You can end up being thrown off by small, insignificant words. If you wrote down the word "and" in your script, but then when you read the sentence, you said "then" instead of "and," it would have thrown you off the entire sentence. When the truth is, you probably still could have got your point across by saying "then" when rather than and. But because it wasn't exactly what you wrote down on your script, you now need to redo it. You also might end up sounding a bit robotic and you might lose a lot of your personality in the production process. It also might not be very enjoyable for you to actually film your videos. And unless you have one of those fancy teleprompter things, your eyes might be slightly off center because you're reading from a script behind the camera. So what you want to do instead is use prompts, right? You want to write down what the message is that you're trying to deliver rather than word for word how you're going to deliver it. That way you give yourself the freedom to just talk. So as long as you're delivering that message, then the content you've just created will work and you can use it, right? And if you're thinking to yourself, I need a script in order for me to comfortably talk about my niche or whatever the theme of your content is, I want you to reconsider what your niche is. Because if you need to read from a script in order to comfortably talk about your niche, you may have selected a niche that either you don't know much about or you actually don't really like that much. Okay, guys, this is the final thing that I wish I knew before I started my YouTube channel. And that is that the learning never stops. If you're like me, at the start of your journey, you probably immersed yourself in loads of content to learn how YouTube works. And I'm willing to bet you are like that because you're literally watching this video. The thing is though, what a lot of us do is we learn a certain amount and we're like, okay, tick, I know everything now. I don't need to carry on learning. And the truth is that the learning never stops, especially when it comes to social media, because things change so rapidly. So in order for you to really ensure that you're up to date and you know what's going on in your industry, you kind of want to continue your learning. Now, fortunately, there are so many ways that you can do that. You can find a creator whose content really resonates with you and you can subscribe to her channel. I'm talking about me because I upload content like this every single week. That's one thing that you could do, but there are tons of other creators within my niche who are also incredible as well. Another shameless plug, but it genuinely is going to really help you, is to sign up to my free newsletter. I send end of week newsletters every single Friday, which wrap up the key creator news from the week and gives you all the information that you need to ensure that you're remaining top of your game. I will put a link in the description. So on the topic of continuously learning, why not hang around and watch this video next? It's all about the changes coming to YouTube this year. So it's a very important video for all budding YouTubers to watch. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, I can't wait to see you in my next one.